everybody. Today, I wanted to talk about the importance of taking refuge. Specifically, taking refuge means to, seek help, beseech, um, in forces and outside of ourselves. So, to be able to look outside of ourselves and say, we can't handle everything. We don't actually have control over everything, actually, anything that we experience in our lives, and we may try to trick ourselves into thinking like, you know what, I do have control over certain things, but in the end of the day, in the end of your life, you might realize that like you don't have control over anything. Without us stopping or speeding up time moves forward and we get older. um as babies, we learn to take refuge in our parents or a loving parental figure. They are there to teach and guide us. But is it the person that we're taking refuge in, or is it what they represent? As humans, we are not infallible. We grow older and we make mistakes. That's just the nature of being a human. Um, but when we're born into this world as babies crying and seeking out our mother or father's attention, what we're seeking refuge in at those moments is actually love. We're beseeching a caring parental figure to feed us, to take care of us. We're beseeching and taking refuge in love. And taking in refuge in love is something that we actually do throughout our entire lives, the entire course of our lives. But we might not realize it. Just because in some circumstances, love might take the form of actual people. So, when you're a baby, it's your parents, it's your mom or dad, maybe. Um, and that's to use the form of love. But as time moves forward, things change and you realize, there's some moments where maybe, you're in an argument with your parents or you're in disagreement and you may feel something towards them as people other than love, maybe frustration or, upsettedness. But when you come back to it, you are searching for and seeking love. You know, our parents get older, they pass away. We will get older and pass away. So seeking refuge in a human doesn't necessarily make sense. We look for partners, we look for friends to accompany us, to join us through this path of life. Um, but are we doing that because, this particular person is a superhero of some sort who can just solve all our problems or, make sure that we're always happy and laughing and joyful? Or is it because in our minds, this person is a representation of love? In that way, I think that we can start to see that, people, as much as we love them, will come and go. We will come and go. But the constant that we're searching for and that we're always taking refuge in, that we're beseeching to and yearning for, is love. Um, and when we realize this, I think it can actually bring a lot of comfort to our minds, actually. You know, when when those who are undergoing maybe natural disasters, earthquakes, catastrophic fires, they're seeking refuge as well. It's a very clear sort of way that others are seeking refuge. And it may appear that, they're seeking refuge in friends and family members or even in charitable organizations like the Red Cross. But all those are all representations of love. So when we start to realize that sort of the North Star in our lives, what we're always pulling back towards, what we're always seeking refuge in, is love, we can begin to become a bit more light-hearted and understanding of the circumstances that we approach without sort of this realization that we are seeking refuge in love constantly as humans, that everyone, actually, animals too, are always seeking refuge constantly in love, we start to begin to get a little bit arrogant. We think that we can, if I work really hard, I can get a better paying job and I can make money to take care of my family and loved ones. And that's because I'm working so hard. But still, time moves on and eventually I'll die. And no matter how hard I work, this will come to pass. So the working hard and us thinking that we can control aspects of our lives, I think that may be at times a bit of a distraction from what we are truly seeking refuge in, what we are truly beseeching, what we're truly yearning for in our lives, and what everyone is, and that's love. It's what connects us all to each other. It's what, at the end of the day, we say, like, do we, at the end of our lives, do we remember all the moments where, we studied really hard for a very difficult exam, or we worked really hard to get that promotion, or that time that jerk in the blue car cut us off? We don't really remember those moments, but what we're taking refuge in, what we're beseeching, what we're yearning for is love. With that realization that taking refuge in love is just something that we innately and naturally want to do as humans, we can begin to actually provide love to others and see and become more understanding and compassionate of others. You know, the jerk in the blue car that cut me off, that person is maybe going through something. That person is maybe distracted by thoughts of, like, I'm going to be late to an appointment, or I'm very worried about XYZ, I'm stressed out. And even in those moments where we act in ways that are stressed or upset or anxious, that's when we actually need love the most, when we're very worried. So those moments can actually be a sign for us to pause and remember that what we're all doing and what we're always seeking and taking refuge in is love. With that, we can have sort of a more expansive and open heart. We can begin to become more understanding of people and phenomena and situations, and really send out compassion to everyone. Because, as we know, that's what, at the end of the day, we all need. That's what we all yearn for and seek refuge in and beseech for: love. I think sometimes we can get caught up in the sort of the mundane and day-to-day processes of living, um, that we forget this, that at the end of the day, everyone is turning back and taking refuge in love. And when we lose sight of this, we can kind of become, that's when, maybe your stress starts to build. We lose sight of why we do things. I am making dinner, I'm washing the dishes, I'm doing laundry, I'm going to work, I'm studying for exams, I'm writing papers, we're doing endless chores and abundant things. And if we are focused on, like, well, I'm doing this, all the things are taskless, we start to forget, like, why we're doing it. Why do we make ourselves these taskless? What's the importance of, like, washing our car or doing our laundry? What's the importance of that? Well, the truth is, it's not important unless it's seen in the context of love. Our one true refuge is love. We do the laundry so that we can have clean clothes, or so others that we love can have clean clothes to wear, because we don't want to, be stinky around them. We wash our cars so that, or others' cars, so that, like, this is a nice presentable car for someone we loved to ride in, for example. Everything we do is actually with love as the center, but we lose sight of it at times. And so it's always nice when moments come up and you're feeling maybe a bit upset and overwhelmed and stressed out or anxious. If you can take a bit of a pause and remember that you're feeling stressed out and all these things because perhaps you've forgotten your North Star. Love doesn't want you to feel stressed out and anxious. You know, if you can relax in love, you can actually feel your heart opening more. When we begin to worry and lose sight of love, we might even feel physically like our body's tightening. Like for me personally, my shoulders start moving up towards my neck or towards my head, and like I can't relax them, and I'm just so stressed and I feel tight like a ball. But once you pause in those moments and look into your heart, you'll see that what everyone is searching for, what we're always seeking refuge. And in those moments, you can still remind yourself to seek refuge and beseech for love. Your heart begins to expand and you begin to relax. And then you begin to realize there's no limits to love and what you'll do for love. Of course, I'll endure anything for love. Of course, this life that seems like so much suffering, like we hear in the news about all the ways in which people suffer. Of course, we'll live these lives in search for love, to give love and to receive love for others, from others. Getting caught up happens. Um, I think it's just always important once you realize, though, that you've become caught up, not to beat yourself over it, but just to connect back to, the North Star that we all have in this life. Because this life is so fleeting, it's so temporary. You know, the things that worry and stress us over in a single moment, that just dissipates, that disappears and moves on. And rather than looking for the next thing to worry and stress us out, if we can take that chance to get back in touch with love, compassion, we'll find that life's actually, not as bad as sometimes our minds make it. We'll find that we can actually take a big, deep breath and send out love to all those that we care about or all those who we hear who are suffering. And in that way, we feel a little bit less tight because that's what we're all taking refuge in at the end of the day, at the end of our lives. And each moment when we're undergoing hardship, we're seeking for, we're yearning for, and we're taking refuge for love. I hope that's helpful, a helpful message for you and whatever mind frame this message finds you in. It's just a reminder that, things are okay. Just get back to your true heart of hearts, what you're really here to do, what you're yearning for, what you're trying to send out. And hopefully that'll help you move forward. Thank you so much.